it's way too wet on your cheeks to be nothing. But what does she know? Really, what does she know?
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another week of the Mindtality podcast. I'm your host, Rodolfo Felix.
And co-host Eric Ogaz.
And as you can tell, to the right of me today, special guest Chacon. Say what's up.
Yo, what's up? What's going on, everyone?
Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, a little introduction, just so that people can get a feel for you.
So my name is Christopher Chacon. I am currently 23 years old. Birthday's coming up on July 12th, so I'll be 24. You know, entering my Kobe year. So let's go. We're about to go full throttle. You know, so what can I say? How do I describe myself? Well, the way I like to say it, I'm a pending future millionaire.
Okay.
I truly believe, you know, you have a lot of power on your tongue. So the way you present yourself to people is very important because you're speaking life over yourself and you're speaking things over yourself. So I'm a pending future millionaire. You know, I'm a single father, an amazing dad to my son. You know, I'm all about helping people go to the next level in their life with finances, but also with their mindset and currently with their health. So in every aspect of life, you know, that's what my purpose is of life, is to help people go to the next level. And yeah, super motivated, you know, eager to learn. I'm always a student, so I'm always reading. You know, I have a book right here next to me right now that I've been working on. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself, just real quick, you know, very simple.
Yeah, definitely. Now, real quick, before we do, Eric and I do our little weekly update or whatever. I've known Chacon since we were about, and I call by his last name because that's what we just go by. Probably, let's see, I'm 23 now, so probably like when we were like 15, right? 15, 16 around there. It was like sophomore year, junior year of high school. Yeah, so like
junior
16,
year of high school for sure.
16-ish. So a few years now, we met at a church in San Bernardino. We did a lot of youth events. We did a lot of outreaches, skateboarding outreaches for troubled youth, a lot of homeless outreaches, adopt block, stuff like that. So Chris and I go deep. Let's go ahead and dive in, Eric, to just like a quick recap, and then we're gonna go ahead and I have some questions for Chris. So you can go ahead and kick us off, Eric. How was your week? I know we just recorded your mom's podcast. Those who are listening, Eric's mom's podcast is dropping today. Chris, this podcast would be dropping the following week. So go ahead and give us an update. I know we just talked recently, a few days ago, actually, Eric. But how's everything been?
Everything's going good. I'll just talk about the last few days that I've been having. So I actually reconnected with one of the interns that I worked with at the DA's office. And so that was good to catch up and get a little insight. He just graduated from law school. So it's better to get the information from him, you know, and to like get prepared as I'm going into law school to try and like pick his brain and see what he did and maybe some tips and tricks, you know, what to do, what not to do type of thing. So it was good to be able to like reconnect with him and have that like available as an option, you know, for moving forward, even if I have questions. So just that was really cool for me. And it's just important of like not, you know, never to burn bridges in wherever you go in life.
Ooh,
so because you know what I mean? Because like I would if I just didn't really care about him and when I interned, or like just like didn't talk to him or whatever, or was really mean, I probably wouldn't have been able to ask these questions that I'm asking, you know, and be able to talk to him and get information like that. So just never burn bridges.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's good to hear, Eric. I had a pretty, like I said, we talked a little bit like 3 days ago, so nothing much has happened except for the fact that I blew my back. I don't even know how. Maybe I do know how. So I work with teenagers, and I took them to a local park, and I wear Crocs everywhere. And I also have like my running shoes in my car, but that was the only day, Eric, Chris, that my lady, that I told my lady she could drop me off because we're in the process of moving in our apartment. I didn't want us to take 2 cars to the apartment. So I brought all my stuff, clothes, all that. Well, when she dropped me off, she took my shoes. So I was left with Crocs. I was the Mexican on the basketball court with Crocs. And I only played for a couple minutes. Once I fell on my butt, I was like, okay, I'm done. So I dust myself off and left the court. I just started walking. But you guys, the weirdest thing is it was one of those falls. You know how have you ever fell on your tailbone and it stings? That wasn't the case. It didn't sting. I wasn't numb. My palms didn't hurt. Nothing. Like 3 or 4 hours later, man, I could barely even walk. I had to throw down 1,000 milligrams of pain relief, and I just took it like a soldier. But that's pretty much
like a
it.
soldier.
Just took it, man. I just took it. I'm feeling a lot better though.
The general in the trenches.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's so annoying because my fiance had that conversation of like, look, you're 23, you're not 16 anymore, and I'm like, what in the world is this, dog?
Oh no.
So
Like if you're 40 years old or something.
yeah, I was like cringing. I was like, I'm not even a dad yet, and I'm having this conversation. But
Jeez.
anyways, that's pretty much for me. Let's jump into this podcast. Chacon, one of the biggest things that really caught my eye with you, and we had this conversation over the phone. And I told you I was watching. I told you I wanted to see what you're about. I wanted to see how long this ride will last, if you will, because when you made that switch from working at a dealership to doing crypto and currency, you had your son, you were working hourly, working commission, and I was surprised because we had played a lot of video games at this time too. We were playing a lot of video games together, so we would check in with each other daily. How was work? Work was good. The manager did this. But when he told me that you weren't going to be doing that anymore and that you were going to be sending it with like crypto, I was very sus. Not like you weren't able to do it, but I think you can agree that this is relatively new. So kind of walk us through that process, Chris. Kind of, take us there a little bit. Show us what you're going through and what made you do it. What made you send it?
Super, super powerful question, bro. I think it's important. I forgot to mention in the beginning, I am a full-time entrepreneur right now. I currently am a full-time investor, not only in the crypto market, but majority in the foreign exchange market, which is, aka Forex market. And so that's what I currently do. I've been doing that for like the whole past year and a few months now. So more than 13 months, I've been in the trenches, deep in these trenches, deep in the waters. One thing that I learned from my mentors, if you ever decide to do something, for one, make sure it's something that you initially going to start loving. So I didn't like ever wake up one day thinking, oh, I'm going to be a Forex trader. Because for one, I never knew these markets existed. I never heard about it in high school. I even went to college for a little bit, never heard of it in college, never heard of it around my friends or anyone who I was around. I didn't, hear about this just until last year. So you got to think like just information is really powerful. I just want to emphasize that for the rest of this podcast that, information can change your situation. So that goes with anything in life. Like if you don't know, about foods, different foods you put in your body, you could learn new information to learn that, and that could change your life. And, information about working out, that could change your life. The whole information super powerful, right? So I was blessed to get this information about the foreign exchange market sometime last year. And when I first heard of it, like you said, we would play video games every single night, like literally every night. We almost did all-nighters. I remember playing with
hours.
Felix.
Hours.
Yeah, Felix, hours, waking up literally at 5, 6 in the morning, ready to go to car sales, go to work. So while working, I was in the car business for about 3 years. I got into the business when I was around like 19 years old or 20 years old. And I, ended up leaving the business just sometime last year. I was already 20. I just turned 23. So I was in the business for quite some time. So obviously making that decision, because I made it, the decision pretty much like I was like 3 months in, I was 6 months in. I was half a year in studying Forex hard as shit. And I sort of just made the decision like instantly. It was like an instant thing. But obviously, like within those 6 months, I was just preparing my mindset, preparing my thoughts, preparing my emotions, because you never want to make any decision out of emotions. So really just meditating on it and really seeing if if this works, you know what I'm saying? Seeing if investing actually works, because I'm new to this, never heard of it. I don't know anyone personally. Well, I do now, but before I didn't know anyone personally who was rich off of investing. So that's why, you know, very important to get plugged in with the people who are successful in what you want to do. But to kind of bring you guys back into like my emotions and my thought process of working at a dealership for almost 3 years, the main reason why I even entered a dealership, because I did it for the money. I knew that commission, was the next best thing compared to working at McDonald's, working at any other fast food restaurant or even convenience store. Because I also worked at Stater Brothers before the car dealership. So I had a taste of like little everything, the world had to offer, besides obviously going to college, getting a degree, and then maybe becoming like a high profession. But that takes a massive amount of time. So I did a pizza restaurant. That was my first job. And then I did Stater Brothers. So I had a taste of fast food. I had a taste of like the retail environment. And then I also had a taste of, commission. And definitely commission is where it's at if you're seeking to make more money. But it does take, a different type of mindset to get up in there. But during my like multiple years, just very important that you guys understand, like, since I was young, I know Felix could like emphasize on this. Since me and him were both like young in high school, we were leaders to the youth. We were, God and the universe was already working on our characters and our leadership roles as youth already. So at that time, I already had really high ambitions for myself. I had high vision for myself. I always had a desire to be a millionaire. I always had a desire to break generational curses in my family. I always had a desire to be better. So literally, no matter what happened in my life, I never quit. Like I was that person to never quit. If I put my mind to something, I go all into something, like I'm all in. Like nothing that gets thrown my way is going to stop me. I strive to be the best. So like in car sales, I strive to be the best. So I was always on the top of the leaderboard when it came to car sales, because I just had that mindset, always working hard. But after so many years, in the car business, my desire for a better future for myself was so strong. Like, you guys got to understand, like, this feeling, it feels like a fire. It literally feels like a fire just burning within your body, burning within your soul. So at a certain point, I started to feel trapped, and I started to feel, the best word I would like to say, if I'm being honest, is terrified. I was low-key starting to beginning to become terrified, because I didn't want to be stuck. I didn't want to be stuck in the cycle, bro. I didn't want to be stuck in the typical, okay, I have to wake up at 6 a.m, get ready for work. I'm at the car dealership all day. At this point, I already have my son. He's already about 1 year old. About being 1 year old. So I had him for almost a year now. So within that year, fatherhood hit differently. My mindset started to change differently, because I wanted more from my son. Now, definitely wanted to spend more time with my son. I wanted to be more involved with my son. That was like a heavy thought on my mind during the dealership process. But I began to feel like really terrified. I'm really terrified that I was going to be stuck in this lifestyle and there wasn't going to be a way out. Like, all I was going to know for the rest of my life was selling cars and making this commission, because it was better than most other people's income. But at the same time, like, I was literally sacrificing all of my time, all of my energy, and all of my time was going into this dealership, getting sucked out of me. So my emotions during this process was the emotions of like feeling trapped, the emotions of feeling sad because I wanted to be with my son. I wanted to be there with him, but I couldn't. I was stuck at work, stuck around all types of negative energy. I was hungry as hell. I wanted so much more for myself. I wanted, a lot more money and just a better lifestyle. So I was super hungry. Like I mentioned earlier, I was filled with a fire. I felt most of the times like it was always a battle of my emotions when it came to going to the dealership. I'll feel irritated a lot because I felt like, because there'll be times where the dealership is slow as hell, dead as hell. So during those times, like, I would try to do some type of personal development. Like, I would legit throw on an Audible or read something just to like make the most out of my time. And like during that time, my manager would come to me like, yo, what are you reading? Like, stop reading that. Like, make phone calls. I'm like, bro, like it's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, so certain things like that just will get me irritated. And then my energy will start to change up, you know. Like I said, I'll start to feel confused because I was confused. Like, man, is this really it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is there more? What is there more? Like, I know I want to make $1 million in life, but how? Like, how I'm going to get there? What vehicle, you know, what vehicle is going to take me there faster? I'm a firm believer in real estate. So one of my goals is to tap into real estate eventually. But obviously, like when it comes to real estate, you need capital. You need capital for the right mentorship to reach far levels in real estate. So that was one reason what drove me to do car sales, you know, to get that commission, to start hopefully making enough money to save for real estate. But it was never the case, because the more money you make, obviously the more responsibilities you start to obtain. You know, I got my own apartment, got my own car, this, that. So to answer your question, Felix, the emotions I was going through were those emotions. And I was just ready, bro. I was ready to give more from my son. And most importantly, I truly believe in time freedom. Time freedom is the most important asset in the world. You could always get money back, but you can never get your time back. You can never get memories back. So building and creating memories and getting my life back initially was so much more important to me. And I was ready. I was ready to do anything it took to get that. I was ready to sacrifice anything I had to sacrifice to get that. So when, you know, the universe plugged me in with my current business partner, my current trading partner, he put me on the Forex game. He put me on the investing game. He introduced me to the game. He showed me how to play the game, because initially that's how I like to refer this to, as a game. And if you learn how to play the game right, you'll get paid for it. So initially he taught me how to be good at the game. He taught me how to play the game with the big players in the game. And once I learned that, like, it was a wrap. I finally found the vehicle I was looking for to take me to my destination quicker. Right. So once I found that, you know, I was still working the 9 to 5, because one thing I truly like believe in, I'm a strong believer in this, when it comes to investing, it's very important to keep a second source of income, some type of second source of income, because emotions is a very big role when it comes to investing. If you can't control your emotions, you're not going to be able to control your money. So definitely have a second source of income so you don't feel so stressful when you're investing, when you're trading and stuff, when you're playing with your money. You know, you have that source of income coming in. So I held on to my 9 to 5, my dealership, for a few months. I was saving up money. I remember saving up about, not a lot, almost, honestly, not a lot, probably about like $4,000 I saved up. And then I was making like high returns on my practice accounts, just practicing this, like just growing my belief in the game, like just seeing these confirmations work and just seeing trading working. And, you know, I put in real money, was flipping my $100 account to 500, $100 account to 1,000, different things like that. So the belief was just starting to grow. About 6 months in, that's when I was, you know, like I said, I was ready to do whatever it took to go next level. And one thing a lot of people I don't think people really understand is, like, when it comes to these 9 to 5s, it's literally sucking the life out of you. Like, it's literally sucking the energy out of you. I'm not sure what most people do, but for myself, I have a morning routine, because every millionaire, every billionaire, you know, there's intense research done on these people. There's intense, like 50 years plus of research done on multimillionaires and multi-billionaires. So you could literally get the keys to success. And what I learned from my mentor is, you know, you literally find people who are successful, you do exactly what they do, you literally copy them, and you'll get their results. So initially, that's what I always did. You know, I studied people like Eric Thomas, someone who came from the streets and now is a multimillionaire. You know, I studied people like Bob Proctor. I studied people like Alex Morton. You know, I study all types of people. I also read all types of books. Like right now, I'm reading one called Power of Awareness, super fire read. Definitely recommend that. But definitely was ready to go next level. So when I was making this decision, you know, I felt comfortable because I had some money set up. I had some money saved. So I knew I'll be good for a few months, right? And like I said, I was ready to sacrifice everything and anything to go to get and become like that next level. So I sacrificed the current house I was living in. I left it to reduce my liabilities. I left that house. I also officially like split with my ex, officially split with her. That was like a big decision as well. I I even sold my Xbox. Like that's how you knew I was super serious. I sold my Xbox. I was ready to go next level no matter what. Because the Xbox, like video games, was something I really enjoyed and I really loved. So it was a struggle for me because I found myself like after my 9 to 5, when I would get home, I knew I had to study Forex. I knew how to study investing. But instead of studying, I'll hit up Felix, hey, bro, like, let's run it for an hour. Next, you know, it became 4 hours.
That works.
So, like, definitely, like, yeah, my Xbox was a huge distraction in my life. So, my mentor asked me, how bad do you want it? Like, you literally, you know, he says this is something I live by right here. Like, when you're ready to go next level, for one, you got to trust the process, but you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to give up to go up? Like, what are you willing to give up to go up? So whatever you desire to do in life, what are you willing to, you always have to, there's always something you're going to have to give up. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's your pride, whether that's your ego, you know, whether that's materialistic items, but you're going to have to give something up if you want to go to the next level. It's like keys to success. Success 101 right there. But I hope that answered your question. Those are the emotions. I hope those were the emotions I was feeling. And I had a strong desire to do whatever it took to go next level. So I was ready to make that jump. I had the money saved. And it was, you know, I saw enough evidence in investing in Forex that this works. And all I needed to do was invest my time into it. Now, instead of investing 12 hours at the dealership, I need to invest those 12 hours into Forex. So that's what really, like made me do the jump. And ever since I did that jump, you know, just huge growth in the skill set alone.
Dang, Christopher, pop off, will you?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I can do, ladies and gentlemen, the people that are listening, this is an example of that internal fire. You can tell within this man's voice, within his passion that he has for what he's doing and what he's trying to achieve. Just this is the type of energy you got to have when you want to achieve some of these goals. You gotta want it more than anybody else, because everybody else wants it, but they don't want to put in the work, you know? So Christopher, I applaud you, and that's amazing what you've done and what you're continuing to do. One thing that really stuck out to me, and some words that you have said or quotes or whatnot, is that you're always trying to be a learner. You're always a student, is what you said. I think you always will try and be a student, and I love that, because I try and live my life to that way as well. You know, there's never a time where you should know everything. There's never a time where you should just say, I got it, because there's never a time. You just got to continue to learn. There's always something better to learn. There's always a new way, a new method, a new this and a new that. And the only way you get better is by researching it, like you had said, because knowledge is power. And if you know what to do and how to do it, then you're just giving yourself the keys to success right there. So also, I kind of want to talk about something as well. So you said you have a son, and you would transition from going from car dealership to straight up cryptocurrency. Like, that's all you do now, right? You know, for all the other like single dads that are out there, or dads that are like have that stable job, but maybe want to go into that cryptocurrency, where it's kind of like, maybe like it's stable if you have an understanding of it, but it's also a bit of a chance. You know, what would you say to those dads out there about the mindset of going from that transition?
It's a great question, Eric. So a little bit about the mindset. This is like a mandatory thing, in my opinion. You literally have to be real with yourself. So what I mean by that is literally take the time to go in front of a mirror, look yourself in the mirror, and really ask yourself a couple questions. So during this process, like I said, I was meditating on it for a while. I didn't just jump right into it, because again, I don't want to react off emotions. Obviously, the emotions I was feeling was, bro, fuck this job, I want to leave. Like, those were the emotions that I was really feeling. Like, I'm tired of this, like I'm done with it. So at any moment I could have really quit, but I didn't want to do it off of emotions. I wanted to make sure it was something the universe wanted me to do, and like God wanted me to do. So I had to be real with myself. And for one, you have to have the mindset of, like I mentioned earlier, you have to have the mindset of, I'll do whatever it takes. You know, you have to have the mindset of, I want more out of life. You know, you have to have the mindset of like, what can I do to get my freedom back? So like, that's a question I asked to myself. Like I was exchanging mad time for money. So that's another question I asked myself is like, what can I do to get my freedom back? In this case, it was Forex, it was crypto. So I found that vehicle. So find a vehicle that's going to take you to your destination, and your destination is your dreams. So find a vehicle that's going to take you to your dreams and everything you desire the quickest, the fastest. Another mindset, like I was having my thought process I was going through during that was asking myself, like, how can I make more money with less time? So how can I do that? And then I was also thinking, like, how can I get better? So you have to have that mindset of always wanting to be better. Every single day is a new opportunity to get better. Something I personally like to say is, like one of my affirmations for the morning is, I'm so happy and grateful that I have a new day filled with new opportunities to get better in every single way. Also, like, what new things can I learn to go next level? So all these things I was asking myself, and I found it in Forex. And I found like all these answers to this to me was Forex, was investing. So then the second thing, you have to ask yourself is why. So then once I figured out what's going to take me there and like what I wanted to do, now you got to like start to create your plan of action. So you ask yourself, why? So why am I even going to do this? Why do I even want to quit? Why do I even want to do this or do that? So that's very important, establishing your why, because your why your why has a time limit. Everything that we desire to do. So for example, I know one major why of most people is, okay, I want to provide a better life for my family. That's like a typical why for most people. But we got to understand that why has a time limit. At any minute, our family could, obviously, knock on wood, we're not speaking that over our family, but any minute anyone could go. Like, we don't know how much sand is in our hourglass. So that's why you really got to create that desire, create a strong why, that no matter what happens in your life, you will never quit, because your why is that powerful, and you'll never quit until you accomplish your goals and your desires. So that's the mindset they really need to develop, is right there. Develop the mindset of you do whatever it takes, and understand why you're doing it, and never let that why disappear.
Nice. I want to mention we're at that 10-minute mark. Just a couple things in regards to having that fire. Like, from what I hear, I just want to give the listeners just 3 points to, like, maybe they're asking like, okay, you're talking about this fire. I don't feel that I'm on fire. How do I get on fire? And just from what I hear from Chris's testimony, from his story, number one is you got to self-analyze. You got to self-evaluate, put yourself on the life scale, and determine whether or not where you fall. you know do you like your everyday life? Do you like your quality of living? Do you like your job? Do you like the things that you're eating? Do you like the things that you're wearing? You're self-analyzing. How much time do I spend with my fiance? How much time do I spend with my dog? How much time do I spend self-care, meditating, sleeping longer, whatever it is. The second thing, you got to take aim. You got to figure out, okay, so you self-analyze. Okay, now where do you want to go? What are you aiming for? What's your next step? What are you striving to do next? And that third one, this is most essential right here. This is just putting in that required work. Chris said that you got to follow people who are successful in that field in order to grow in that field. And that's part of putting in that work. Putting in that work isn't just everything on your own. No, like Eric said, you can't burn those bridges. You have to maintain those mentorships, the people who are trailblazing. You got to follow them right behind them. You got to mimic them. What I'm saying? You really do. You look at any great artist, you look at any great athlete, and they have an idol. Like that saying, you gotta grind until your idols becoming rivals. Like, that's the mentality you have to have. You really do. And then, like Eric pointed out, you got to be a learner. Chris is a learner. He went from a place of like, I can't do this myself, and I'm tired of trying to do this myself, to taking aim and figuring out, okay, I'm just gonna go under the wings of these gentlemen who are familiar with the Forex ring, and they're gonna show me the ropes. I just wanted to mention just and expand on that whole idea of a fire. You know, the having a fire in your soul has a lot to do with your mind, a lot to do with like on your heart, and a lot to do with your desire, like your future. And that's why it's good to weave, you know, all that with journaling, with affirmations, with positive people. You know, they weave that, they nurture you, they make sure that there's no corruption going on in your mind, you know, negative thinking, etc.
Learning also builds confidence as well. So when you learn and you feel a little bit more comfortable in your situation, you don't feel so uncomfortable or so anxious about what's coming up next. And like they always say too, if you feel like you're nervous for a test or a game, it's just because you didn't practice enough. You didn't prepare enough.
Yep.
And that's the reality of it. If you're comfortable and you feel ready for the time, then it's because you put in the work and the hours, the learning experience to be where you're at, so that there's not, you know what's coming, right? You know, I got this. I know what I need to do. I know where I need to be. Like, it's a sense of confidence when you start learning and you start treating life as, like you said, a game. Really, it's a game you got to just put in the work for. So again, Christopher, I want to thank you for all your wise words and some of your some of the fire that you have in you. I can see it. I can see it. I can feel it coming from my computer right now.
I appreciate you. Yeah, just and real quick, just to leave the viewers with something. I encourage you guys, because me personally, I'm a strong and firm believer in the laws of the universe. And that's the law of attraction, the law of frequency, the law of vibration, the law of awareness, the law of attention, all these different laws that make the world operate. I encourage you guys to really take the time to study these things. Look up Bob Proctor, look up Alex Morin, you know, look up Eric Thomas. There's so many people out there that, you know, study these same laws of the universe and that help them get successful. Remember, success leaves clues. If you follow what successful people do, you'll get the results. It's destined.
Yeah, it's true. Really quick, Chacon, if you can just drop your information. I know you got an Instagram. I don't know if you have any more other platforms that you like to promote. I know you had visions of YouTube. I don't know if that's up. Just go ahead and you have a couple minutes to kind of promote, bring people your direction. Maybe they've seen this episode and they want to figure out how they can reach you. How would they go about that?
For sure. So everyone, you guys can reach me on Instagram and Twitter if you guys like. I'm not so much on Twitter as often, but Instagram I'm on a lot more at famous Chacon, FAMOUSCHACON, at famous Chacon. I love how your partner Eric mentioned about being the best players in the game of life. That's something that's part of my brand. Actually, I have a brand with my partner right now called BPA, the Big Player Association. And we focus on literally helping people becoming the biggest players in the game of life, because we understand the game, life is the biggest game we all live in and we all participate in. So, you know, that's our brand. That's our team right there. BPA, Big Player Association. We help people go to the next level in every single aspect of life. So if you're, you know, interested in learning more about the markets, learning more how to invest, definitely hit me up on the social medias. And I'm looking forward to, you know, potentially in the future coming back on here and dropping more sauce, more focused on as far as investing, giving you guys more nuggets on how to invest and things like that. So I appreciate both of you guys for inviting me on this podcast. I had fun. You guys asked amazing questions and I look forward to the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us, Chacon. You definitely will be on the podcast in the future, because I know there's a lot of people speculating with the dodge to the moon and all this stuff. So there's a lot of people that need to know. They need to know, because I'm seeing a lot of like down 40% or something on a lot of people's stories talking about I need to sell my shoes or something. But yeah, thank you for hopping on, Chris. You're a blessing, man. You're a brother, longtime friend, and yeah, we're gonna have you on in the future. That's going to do it for this podcast. Again, I'm your host, Rodolfo Felix.
And co-host, Eric Rogas.
There you go. And we're out of here. Peace.
In a Chacon. Peace.